Yeah, so I just wanted to talk a bit about negative space because I think this is an important part of nuance and one of the things that can make one's playing swing more and have more of a kind of rhythmic content if you pay attention to it. And it's something which I'm sort of been thinking on and off for a while, but I just thought I'd make a video about it to sort of concentrate my thoughts, really. But it's a pretty simple concept. I mean, obviously, if you're playing a guitar like an electric guitar, which has quite a bit of sustain to it, it's particularly clear that you have the note has a beginning and an end. And where you place that beginning and end is, to some degree, if you have a muting technique, up to you, right? You have control over that. So, I mean, a lot of people, and certainly me, practice our scales and arpeggios and so on, so we have a nice legato flow to them. So we like them to have all that kind of, that kind of nice sort of, the feeling of legato in the sense of every note being connected to the next, not necessarily legato in the kind of rock kind of way, but that sort of that kind of idea is only one side of the coin. I mean, you can also play those notes very detached, which is sometimes the way to do it. That's another nuance, and it sort of ties into this idea of how can people how can you swing on quarter notes? Because sometimes when you've got a really fast tune, quarter notes, a lot of your solo is going to be made up of quarter notes. It's like to make those swing is quite important. And even on slower tunes, it's nice to kind of break it up a bit. And of course, you can syncopate. So if you've got quarter note phrase, you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. You push it, right? Do bam, boom, ding, dan, ding, ding, bam. Or you can put in the skip note like I did earlier in that phrase. Which is fine, but it doesn't necessarily. You're not playing quarter notes for a start, and actually, there are many examples of areas in jazz where people swing entirely on quarter notes. For example, walking bass or ride cymbal playing. But a good example for the guitar would be straight fours. If you notice the way I'm playing that, and it's particularly acute on an electric guitar because it's sustained, you don't feel quite so much on acoustic, as you'll notice that I'm not joining those chords up. I'm not playing, which I might do a little bit more on an acoustic guitar, simply because it kind of the natural decay of the acoustic guitar is such that you won't really notice so much. And the way I'm doing it, really, I think, is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So I'm kind of lifting my fingers off on the and the swung upbeat. And if I did that straight, so that kind of tempo. So that's the difference between straight and swung, right? Just by changing where I'm taking the note off at the end. So the swing ones obviously last slightly longer, and they kind of time with the upbeat. And I've sort of talked a lot about how the upbeat in jazz, I think, is structurally really important, and that's probably the most important feature of the bar to really focus on when you want things to swing, is to make sure that you lock into that upbeat, and that's just another way you can do it. Alternatively, you might have more kind of bebop-y styles of comping where you're, maybe not always on the beat. So you might be playing 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Might do a little push. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. And then, again, negative space is important because you can choose to 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can like have long chords like that, but you can also have short ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. You know, or you could, you know, so you can make decisions. Like if I did a short one, I'm ending it. I'm kind of starting on the upbeat, ending on the downbeat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. But I could also end it on the upbeat of the following beat. See how that works? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1. You know, so what I'm saying is it's not necessarily about intellectualizing these possibilities, but it's about having awareness of them, and the fact that, you know, not only do the notes on your guitar have a start, but they also have an end. And I think like a lot of the great players understand this intuitively, and it's what gives their playing nuance, and in the case of people like Wes Montgomery, swing, and so on. It's a really important factor, I think. Now this can obviously be extended to single note lines, so if I'm playing boom, 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 boom. So well, that's a swing. Ba da 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 da. 1, 2, 3. I can kind of do it, I think. Yeah. Yeah, that feels that. You know, you get if you cut them too short, it might not swing so much. But if you get them the right length, the kind of z za 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 zabu ba doo ba, it kind of feels like they have weight. You know. I suppose where this comes in most useful, and obviously it's kind of a bit more harder to gauge when the tempos get faster. But if you do play a fast tempo tune. It's not crazy fast, but that's a little bit more up. If you're 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 2. You know, then you can use your quavers as decoration. But you've got a ba 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 ba. You can do syncopations as well, pushes. That's kind of fun, isn't it? I mean, it's just another colour, and it stops you from always playing things at the same kind of, you know. I think we tend to obsess about eighth notes as guitar players, and actually there's a lot of music in the other note values. And if you think about where the notes end, you know, then you can create more swing in your line, I think. You know, so it stops being just like kind of endless notes. 2, 3, 4. It's about feeling the upbeats in the music always. Anyway, thanks for watching. Post any comments you have below. Thanks. Bye.